To understand the cascade is to understand what styles a web browser will apply to HTML elements, because styles can come from multiple sources. Let's take the example of a web page called default.html. One set of styles can be applied by the author, that is you, the person who is creating the web page. As we saw in the first module, you can have styles defined inline in the HTML, and you can also have styles defined in a .css file that you include into the page with a link tag. You can have multiple link tags inside of that page to include multiple CSS files, and there's nothing to prevent you from using a combination of link tags and embedded styles. I'll also show you an example of how a CSS file can import rules using the @import rule. So just the styles that you author can come from a variety of sources, but there is also two sets of styles included implicitly into every web page. One set of implicit rules comes from the user's style sheet. Most modern web browsers will allow a user to create their own style sheet that the browser will apply to every web page that they view. User style sheets primarily exist to improve the accessibility of the web. For example, I can define my own user style sheet to increase the font size of every page I visit, and that would make the pages easier to read for me. Or I can define colors that make it easier for me to see the content of a website. I'll show you where you can apply a user style sheet in Internet Explorer and Chrome. Another set of implicit rules comes from the browser itself. We call this set of rules the default style sheet. You'll also see these styles referred to as the user agent styles, because in the CSS specifications, a web browser is called a user agent. These default rules tell the browser the default colors and fonts to use when there are no other style rules in effect. The CSS Cascade assigns a weight to each style rule, and when several rules could apply to a single element, the rule with the greatest weight will take precedence. The user styles have more weight or more importance than the default styles, so the user style can effectively override the default styles defined by the browser. Author styles have more importance than user styles, so the styles that you define in your style sheets effectively override anything provided by the browser or by the user. Although there is an exception I can show you in a demonstration, which is one of the easiest ways to understand the cascade.